and this is my video project. So I want to talk about one of the biggest taboo of our society, the incest. So let's begin with what is an incest. Like most of all know, it is a practice. It is a practice of have sexual relationships between two members of the same family. For example, mother with son or father with daughter, or between brother and sister, etc. It is a practice now seen in many places of the world. That's why it is a taboo. If two members of the same family have a child, well, the principal consequence is that this child will burn with an intensification of his or her parents' features. For example, if one of the parents suffers from any illness, his child probably will have it, but more intensified. Hence, mutation and deficiencies generally attribute to this type of DNA binding. But not all children born in such families have this problem, have to suffer mutations, among other things. So I was looking on the internet about it, and I found things that when you read it you say, whoa, there are so many crazy people in the world. We all know that Japan is a very curious country and very different if you compare it with Colombia or others Western countries. In Japan, the 29% of the accusations of incest are made between mother and son. It's a very high rate compared with other countries. But it's very common that Japanese mothers sleep with her sons while her husband is sleeping with other woman. One case of incest is the monster of Austria. Probably you hear about it. This story started when the mother of a child this child had some characteristics typical of children born of incest. So this mother led her son to the hospital because he was very sick. What causes that the scientists, staff of the health center came into a doubt and decided to investigate about it. At the beginning, the mother didn't want to say the truth, but at the end she started to cry and confessed that what was happening since 25 years ago. She said that her father locked her in the basement of his home. There he abused of her every time he wanted. In that basement she had given birth to their children, and in that place she had passed from girl to woman, unable to get out and see the world. So it's a really sad story, you know, and this man was a monster. And the hospital decided to call the police, and the police arrested her father. Since then, he was called the monster of Austria. But we don't need to go so far to talk about incest. In Colombia, the incest, although is classified as a crime, it's a cultural reality in many places of the country. In the north of Bucaramanga, many men live with their daughters as their wives and had many babies with them. Here's a story that I found on the web about it. Some years ago, a man who worked in the street picking up trash found with his daughter a bowl, an iron bowl, and he thought that it could be useful, and he tried to open it, but unfortunately it was a grenade that the National Army left abandoned. This case was published in the local press. What was not published was that a young woman went to the lawyer Oscar Gomez, who wrote this story. I found it in his blog. She was pregnant and she was accompanied of like 16 children. All of them were smelly and dressed in dirty clothes. Most of them because she wanted that the lawyer took the case of her father and her sister, the man and the girl who died because of the tornado. When the lawyer asked her what was her relation between the children and she said that the whole of them were her brothers and sisters and sons at the same time. He was shocked. He couldn't understand. So she said that she had the children with her father, and the rest of the children were her sister and father's children. So I don't know what to think about incest. To me is just insane, because to me it's really a taboo. I can't imagine myself living in a family that practice incest. But people have the right to live the way they want to live and have the right of love everyone they want to love. So the only thing I'm not in favor is that the same family abused of one of the members of the family, especially the parents to the children. If the daughter doesn't want to live with her father, she doesn't have to do it, and he doesn't have the right of force her. So that's all. This is my video project, and have a good day. Goodbye.